My students are always shocked when I tell them this. There are actual networking events and conferences for DJs and producers. I'm not just talking about small gatherings. I'm talking about multi-day, week-long networking event conferences with speakers and all sorts of panels. Some of them have thousands and thousands and thousands of attendees. And these events, if you do them right, can change your career. These sorts of conferences and these sorts of events have opportunities that are so unique you could never find them over the internet. You get to get face-to-face with labels, face-to-face with talent buyers and A&Rs and other producers. A lot of them have great speakers, different panels, masterminds that are just so unique because of those events. Also, to be clear, we are not associated with any of these. I'm not sponsored by them. They're not paying me. So even though I'm talking very highly about them, we're not connected to them in any way. We just know that these conferences and these events are amazing opportunities. Our students have seen incredible results by going to them, and we want to share them with you. At this point, though, you might be asking yourself, why listen to me about conferences and networking events? Well, my former career, my initial startup was the COO of a major conference company. It was one of the biggest conference companies for entrepreneurship. It exists to this day. It's really successful. So I've really seen how much these types of events can impact someone's life. First off, if you don't know, my name's Justin. I run Cosmic Academy. An artist development school, we've been around for over 10 years. We've worked with over 650 amazing artists, and all we care about is results. And our students, they get them. They sign to the biggest labels like Monstercat, Insomniac, and Juno, Ultra. They play the biggest shows. They play in Ibiza, play all over the world. We just had 3 students play EDC. And a lot of the results that they do get are from meeting people at these types of events. I tell stories all the time to my students about how one of the other classes and this student over there met an A&R at this conference. They bumped into the label head that they've been trying to get on that person's label at this event over there. And when you get face to face with these people, it just changes the dynamic. It allows you to go really deep with them and build a real relationship. So I'm going to give you just a few events, a few conferences that we'd recommend, and then I'll give you a few tips on how to navigate them and succeed. Before I do, you just smash that like button. I have no idea what it does, but if you smash that like button, it makes a kitten happy. We want happy kittens. Even if you're a dog person, you want happy kittens in the world. So smash that like button, make a kitten happy. Let's talk about these networking events. First one is our favorite, Miami Music Week. If you make electronic music or you DJ, then this is something you should try to attend. Miami Music Week is not a true conference. It doesn't have like speakers and panels. You don't buy a ticket to the conference, but it's a week of events in Miami at the end of March. It coincides with the same week of Ultra Music Festival. But Ultra Music Festival is just one part of this, and that is where the fans go. But where you would go are the hundreds of other events, yes, hundreds of other events that take place all around Miami. And there's a lot of people in town. And it's really cool because it really takes over this whole city, and you can go to one label party at this hotel and then a different label party right after that at a different spot. And you can go to this labels networking event at this pool, and it's really cool. And it's very laid back. Getting to meet people face to face in the Miami sun, having a beer. It's very casual. It's not as stodgy as like a true conference would be. And our students have gotten great results by coming to Miami Music Week. They'll go to the party for Insomniac, get to meet the A&R, and then next thing you know, they're signed to an Insomniac label. There's also dozens and dozens and dozens of parties every single day of the week where you can also get gigs at. So if you do this right, you can network at this event, you can get a gig here, you can come back every single year, hopefully with a gig and the networking opportunity. Now, let's say you're not in North America. Maybe you're in Europe. Maybe you're on that side of the pond. If you want something similar to Miami Music Week, but over there, ADE. So Amsterdam Dance Event is the next conference or event we're going to talk about. It's very similar to Miami Music Week in that it's like a week long of events. It takes place over an entire city in Amsterdam, but slightly different than Miami Music Week. ADE does have more panels. There is a smaller kind of conference feel to it. There are some speakers and things like that going on top of the label parties and on top of the other events around the city. ADE happens in October, fall around that time, and it's definitely more geared towards the electronic music scene. But similar to Miami Music Week, because of the kind of city it's in, Miami versus Amsterdam, they're both kind of fun party cities, it's very casual. It's a great place to, have a beer, get to know someone, have a deep relationship building session with a bunch of people. And our students also go to that one and get incredible results, meeting folks there, having fun, forming a relationship, and then doing work together. Now, let's say you don't make electronic music and you don't want to go to the Miami Music Week or ADE. Miami Music Week is in March. If you want to do something in March, South by Southwest. South by Southwest, also known as South by, happens in the first or second week of March every single year. There's a music part of it, there's a movie part of it, there's an entrepreneurial part of it. It's a very, very big conference/festival. It takes place in Austin, Texas, and it has tens of thousands of attendees. Now, this one is geared way more towards the mainstream and hip hop and pop and maybe some rock music as well. And there are shows and big performances going on, but there is truly a conference there as well, where you get a conference badge and you attend speeches and panels, and there's all sorts of stuff like that going on. South by is also an amazing conference for you to connect with corporations and sponsors. Big sponsors don't really go to ADE or Miami Music Week because it's more niche, but you go to South by Southwest, you might see a panel that's sponsored by Google, or you might see an event that's sponsored by Pepsi. It's like really big, really mainstream, huge companies. So if you're looking to get in front of those types of people, those types of companies, more of the mainstream music scene, South by Southwest is incredible. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, let's say you're more into the underground. For that, we have IMS, also known as the International Music Summit. IMS is a conference that happens in Ibiza around late April, early May every single year. IMS is maybe the opposite of South by in that you're not going to have any mainstream pop artists. You're not going to have, the big name corporations either. You're more likely to see a speech or a panel from folks that are A&Ring at a tech house label, or people that do talent buying for a techno show. And the sponsors won't be Google or Pepsi. It may be DJ Mag and Pioneer. This is also much more of a structured conference than like a Miami Music Week. It's only for a few days, but there's a lot of panels and a lot of speakers and a lot of attendees with the badges and that sort of thing. There's definitely less parties going on. At Miami Music Week, there's so many parties also going on. Like I said before, Ultra Music Festival is going on while this Miami Music Week's happening. So sometimes because there's so many parties, you can get distracted. IMS is not like that because yes, it is a conference, and yes, it's in Ibiza. It's not the high time for their season. So their opening parties for Ibiza haven't really happened yet. So for the most part, it's a conference where there's really just a conference going on. With that said, it is still Ibiza, and there probably still will be some partying. And by the way, there are plenty more of different conferences and networking events for music production and DJing. I want you to do me a favor, help me out. Help me out in the comments. Let me know if you've been to any others, or maybe you've been to these and you liked them or you didn't like them. I'd love to know your suggestions. I also promised I'd give you my best tips on how to network at these. I actually have an entire video on that topic. It's going to pop up somewhere over here. Go watch that one next.